Hiya, welcome to Craftwork. My name's Ruthie, and today I wanted to do a little kind of sew and tell, but rather than just do the last month of sewing, I thought I would just gather it all into one video and do a kind of summer wardrobe review. If you've seen my autumn winter capsule wardrobe video, then you'll know that I've been trying to look at my seasonal wardrobes in order to work out what I need to sew next, where the gaps are, and what I enjoy wearing, so that what I'm sewing is useful and good and that I get a lot of wear out of it. So right off the bat, I need to tell you that I got a little bit obsessed with named patterns. I didn't realise how obsessed I got with it until I started filming this video. So if you haven't heard of that pattern company, I really recommend checking them out. They're kind of not really a beginner's pattern company, which is maybe why I've only recently got obsessed with them, because my sewing has improved and my skills have advanced, and now it feels like I can take on some of the more complicated patterns, such as the ones that names do. They do a few more simple ones, but definitely it's towards the more intermediate and beyond spectrum, I would have said. So that being said, I made quite a lot of the same pattern as well, and I was really happy with my summer wardrobe. I was lucky enough to go to Corfu, and I took with me like 9 dresses just for a week, so it's not exactly a capsule wardrobe, but everything that I took I wore, and I was really happy with it. And actually dresses don't take up that much space in a suitcase, so yeah, I was really pleased. So yeah, first of all I made the Reeta dress from Named Clothing, and this pattern has been so popular, and you can see why. It's really easy to wear, it's really comfortable, but it's also quite fun to make. It's got some of those techniques of shirt making, but not all of them. So if you haven't made a shirt before, you could make this, but you probably need to be around advanced beginner or intermediate. I think they suggest intermediate for this one. So yeah, it's got some of those more tricky techniques, but they're quite fun to try your hand at. And then otherwise, it's just quite a nice sew. It does use a lot of fabric, so it suggests 4 meters. I did manage to get one of them out of 2 meters, but that was on quite a wide roll. But otherwise, I did use around 3 to 4 meters, and that was for a size 42, I think I made, which is about a size 14. I wanted it to be a bit roomier. The only change I made was after I'd made them all, I decided to add inseam pockets, and I'm so glad I did. If you are going to make this pattern, I really recommend adding inseam pockets, because everyone likes some pockets. Whilst they've got the ones at the top, it's not the same as being able to put your hands in the inseam pockets. I was really happy with all 3 of them, and I wore them to death. Obviously the black one was the first one I made, and it's almost falling apart. I've worn it so much, and I can see myself kind of wearing it a little bit into the autumn as well, because I think it would look quite nice with a jumper over it, and tights. The other ones are probably summer only dresses, I would have thought. The next one I made is another named pattern, as I said. I made 3 different named patterns, so this is the second one. The second one is the Kielo wrap dress, which is another super popular pattern. I made it in a woven fabric. I made it in 2 different woven fabrics. It suggests a jersey fabric, but yeah, I made it in 2 woven fabrics. One of them a kind of silk from Maggie's Fabrics, and one of them is a kind of sheer viscose. it's not really chiffon, it's very drapey and a bit heavier than chiffon, and it's completely sheer, so I had to wear something underneath it like a slip, or whilst I was on holiday I really liked it as a beach dress to wear my bikini under. So I was really happy with it. With the first one, which was the silk one, I probably should have done a full bust adjustment, so I did that for the second one. It fits much better. Also for the first one I made the ties a lot longer. I don't remember why, but it has come in quite handy because it does mean that I can tie it at the back and still like have it tied at the back, if that makes sense, like wrap it around the back and still have it tied there, so all I have at the front is like this strap. My final one was the Helmi Tunic, which I've made quite a lot of for like autumn winter. I like wearing them with tights, but yeah, I made a sleeveless version to wear in the summer, although I do think I could wear this in the winter with tights and a cardigan or something as well. This fabric is incredible. It's from Mr. Fabrics in Lewisham, which unfortunately is closed down, but yeah, I adore this fabric. I love the print. It's pretty on trend, especially for this summer, and it's really, really nice to wear. It doesn't fray very much, and actually I noticed there is a seam that I had forgotten to overlock for some reason, so it's just a raw seam in there that it's been washed hundreds of times and it still hasn't frayed, but it is a woven fabric, so it's quite unusual. I love this pattern. It's really easy to wear, and I've made hundreds of them because it's the one that everyone always asks me to make for them. So my mum has a few, yeah, other people have a few, and I've got myself like three of the tunics and one of the shirts. I'm not as keen on the shirt pattern, it's a little bit too fitted for me. But the tunic is absolutely gorgeous, and again it could be quite a good one if you haven't made a shirt before. Next, onto my self-drafted pieces. So first of all, I had this like remnant fabric from Sew Over It, and I think it's like a cotton. It certainly feels like a cotton, but it could be like rayon or something. It's quite lightweight and it's not a stiff fabric. I had this epiphany one day just to make this dress, and I made it out of like squares, just put some darts in. I lined the top with just a normal white cotton lining, and I added these big pockets in, and yeah, the straps are elastic, and yeah, there's just an invisible zip in the back. I adore this dress. This is the one I probably wore the most, and it only took me like, I would say 2 hours to draft, cut out and sew. I also even managed to pattern match to an extent. I know it's not absolutely perfect, but for me it's pretty good. I usually don't bother with pattern matching at all, to the point where I'd rather like put it so off kilter that it doesn't even look like I've tried, or it looks like I've done it on purpose. But in this case I thought, I'm going to really try. This is a very simple make, I should be able to pattern match, and I did. So really pleased with this make, and it was definitely the nicest dress to wear when it was quite hot. I felt really good in it, and I think the shape is quite flattering. So I tried to recreate that again in a white. I'm not quite sure why, because it just gets dirty so easily, and I tried to recreate it, but I decided to add some extra details. So the back has kind of a cutout bit, and it also, the elastic crosses over, and I wanted a thicker elastic. In hindsight, what I've done is made something that's really hard to get on, especially if you have makeup on, because the makeup will just go all over it. So you have to put your makeup on like after you put it on, fine, but then you have to take your makeup off before you take it off, which, you know, especially if you're on holiday, you might want to change outfits, or you might have spilt something on it and you don't want to add more stains to it. honestly, white is just a bit of a nightmare, but I liked wearing this dress. The fabric was a lot stiffer as well, so I definitely haven't got anywhere near as much wear out of it as I have the orange dress, but I'm still relatively happy with it. It was still comfortable to wear and I still wore it on holiday. And then finally, in the same vein, I made this skirt out of scuba. Now this was from Maggie's Fabrics again, and I adored the print and I just needed it. There was only 1 metre, so obviously it was going to either be a top or a skirt. It wasn't really enough to make a dress. So I thought I'd kind of copy the dresses that I'd made, the orange and the white dress, and do a skirt out of it. It probably took me about, well, less than an hour to make, because scuba is so good to work with. It's so quick, you don't have to hem it, it doesn't fray, and yeah, it's just really, really easy. I just mainly used my overlocker to do all the seams. So yeah, really happy with this skirt. I'm still wearing it and I definitely think I could still wear it with tights going into the winter. So that was definitely massive thumbs up. I wish I could get more of this fabric because I just love the print so much. The top that I'm wearing is just kind of an extra piece that I had after I'd made my partner a denim shirt. I made myself a little t-shirt, and again, it was a really quick make. It was self-drafted, there's no sleeves, it's just like grown on sleeves, so really easy to do. And then I just bound the insides, and I really like the binding on the inside. I know you can't see it when I'm wearing it, but when I see it in my wardrobe I really like it. And then I added a pocket just to add a little bit of interest. The only thing is, I wish I'd put some bust darts in, but I thought it was going to be a little bit more boxy than it is, but I still think I could have done with that shape. And that's it, that's my summer wardrobe review. I did make a few other things that didn't go quite so well, or I made some things that aren't necessarily like summer focused. Again, the majority of these things were made for my holiday in Corfu, so they were made at the beginning of the summer. And as I say, I was super pleased with my wardrobe for Corfu. Everything was perfect and easy to wear and very comfortable in the hot weather. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any thoughts or queries or anything, then let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, there'll be another video next week. I've got a tutorial for you next week, and then there'll be a vlog afterwards. I'm kind of doing it alternate weeks. And yeah, let me know any feedback and subscribe. That's it from me today, and I'll see you next week. Bye!